Joining us from?
Well, it's good to be here, thank you, and I'm here from Seattle, so a long way away. But it was smooth.
Smooth, all right.
No turbulence, and I flew Lufthansa.
Welcome, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Now, anyone who doesn't believe that travel is back with a vengeance has not ventured into an airport or tried to book a hotel in the last 12 to 18 months. Packed airports, long security lines, chaos at the boarding gate, no rental cars, high prices, all of this and more. And yet travelers are traveling and they're learning how to travel again. And despite all the bumps, enthusiasm for travel still remains really high. And if there's one takeaway that stands out from the pandemic for us, certainly as a research company, it's that travel is key to people's lives and their identities. Now, the last year and a half has proved how eager consumers are to reclaim that part of their lives, to travel again. And so what we've seen is this big bounce in travel gross bookings. We were at over $1.4 trillion in 2019, and we dropped to less than half of that in 2020. We're back to over $1 trillion in 2022. So it's been a roller coaster. But our projections show that travel will be back to 2019 levels in 2024. Now, growth will start to moderate over time. 40% year over year is just not very sustainable. So by 2025, we'll start to see that growth slow down a little. Latin America, the Middle East, APAC, those will continue to grow robustly over the next 3 years. And North America and Europe will grow as well, but their growth will moderate. APAC is expected to have a very strong 2023, thanks to China opening up and local tourism in the area. And the Middle East is also projected to continue its recent strong showing. Now, as we move from this boom, we're at the crest of this wave and we're going to move into some calmer waters, get into some equilibrium in the market. One question that faces the industry is, what is this new world going to look like? What's changed? What will be the new normal? And companies are already starting to adapt to this post-COVID world that we live in. Labor shortages, sustainability, technology changes, payments, it's all changing and very fast. So the question really becomes, where do we go from here? And I think the answer is, we're going to continue to grow, but we're going to leverage the many trends and technologies that have the potential to make our industry better. And I'm going to give you an overview of a few key trends that are influencing the travel industry and ecosystem. First, sustainability. Now, that's not something that we just insert a sentence or two into an annual report. Stewardship of the environment, reducing emissions, being a responsible citizen of the world, they've all come to the fore in the last 2 years. And that's for both suppliers and consumers. Governments are taking a much more active stance as well. They're pushing companies to take action. Just think of the European push towards rail as a replacement for short-haul air. And travelers are much more mindful about their actions and their impact. Now, one thing is certain, they're not saying we're going to travel less, they're making more conscious choices. So 3 key takeaways from the consumer side. One is that younger travelers, those who are aged 34 and less, they demonstrate a greater commitment to sustainability than other age groups. Second, few travelers are ready to pay more for sustainability. That's a key takeaway, something to keep in mind. Especially older travelers, those aged over 55, they're averse to paying more. Only about 19% say that they'll pay for carbon offsets. That's compared to 34% for those who are aged 34 and under. And far more people are willing to swap air travel and take the train instead, if that's an option. Third, in destination, dining with locally sourced ingredients is the top activity that travelers are willing to do to support the planet. That's followed by shopping for locally produced souvenirs, walking, cycling, using public transportation. So those options are important. The second trend that I want to highlight is subscriptions. How's travel adapting to the subscription economy? Now, the global subscription e-commerce market increased by 64% in 2022. So why should travel be left behind? Demand for subscription services exists across all age groups. But younger consumers who've grown up with subscriptions, who've become accustomed to it, they sign up more readily. Now, in the travel category, subscriptions generally fall into two types. But, the lines are pretty blurred. We call them subscriptions. The first one is access. That's access to exclusive places, exclusive stays, upgrades, amenities. So an example is Priority Pass, right? Travelers get access to airport lounges worldwide. Or Inspirato, which is in the luxury stay category. The second type is membership. Now, membership usually involves discounts or some benefits, some specific assistance. So the eDreams Prime program here in Europe is a prime example of that. The third trend is digital nomads. Now, there's a lot of debate right now about whether companies which had previously offered employees remote working as an option can force them back into the office, especially in the US. The tech companies are talking about it quite a bit. Now, whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. The era of work from home or work from anywhere is here to stay. And we identified two categories of people who merge remote work with travel. First is what we commonly think of when we say digital nomads. These travelers identify with the lifestyle of a nomad, so they combine remote work with personal travel. Nearly 2 in 3 nomads in the US say they're lifestyle nomads. The second category is those who started to travel more frequently because they could. They could work remotely from somewhere else, so they traveled a little more than they would have otherwise. They don't identify with the lifestyle of a nomad. They're what we call blended travelers. Now, it's also interesting to note that commonly when we think of nomads, we think of young, Gen Z, freelancers. The reality is that 3 in 5 nomads in the US were 35 plus, and 4 in 5 had a full-time job. Now, the economic benefits of having this type of traveler visit a country and stay there is also clear. So many countries, more than 50, now offer a special digital nomad visa that allows travelers to stay long-term and work from a destination. Fourth trend, social media. TikTok has over 1 billion active users per month. No wonder we're all talking about social. What role does it play in travel? Is the influencer economy really influencing travel decisions? And it's still early days. We're still finding out. So far, social is mainly restricted to the destination decision process, where to go. Nearly 4 in 10 travelers say they turn to social channels when looking to make a decision on where to go. Once they're in destination, that influence wanes a little bit. About a fifth say that they reference social media when they're in the destination. Now, social media companies and travel companies have taken note. They're putting strategies in place to grow that channel, to grow their travel business models. So that's a space that we're certainly going to be watching to see if social is able to leverage the huge cloud, the user base, and make an impact on the travel business. And last, I want to touch upon self-sovereign identity. SSI is certainly going to be a key influencer in the future. What is it? It refers to a single identifier that you, me, as a consumer, we own. It's a collection of information that we can use in our digital lives as we interact with vendors. Now, for the travel industry, SSI would represent a dramatic shift in the way that customer information is stored and used. The traveler controls when, how, with who, how long for their information can be stored. And the benefits for travel companies are quite significant too. Personalized rate quotes, improved shopping experiences, accurate customer information for every interaction, two-way communication that's permissioned, and simplified regulatory compliance. And there are things in place already, the Happy Traveller card in Aruba, for example. Now, the European Commission in June 2021 outlined plans for all citizens of the EU to have their own digital identities. And the core is built on SSI and on decentralized ID technologies. So this is a space that is definitely being talked about and will be much watched. So there you have it, 5 trends that are going to influence the future of travel. As we come back, we're open to change as an